Hello everybody, big news, there is a brand new demo of PokeyPoke now available to play on Steam. This demo comes with like 4 years of improvements to the old demo, so please do go check it out if you haven't played the game already, or perhaps especially even if you have played the game already, as a lot of things have changed. One of the many things I've learned across the long development of this game is that my first demo was probably not a good idea. It's had benefits, of course, but it was far too early for me to release something actually playable to such a large public audience. I want to talk about why that is, because for me at the time when I released my first demo several years ago, I couldn't really understand why so many developers and so much of game development is so secretive and opaque, and why, frankly, developers don't show more of their work more often as it develops. So why was it too early to release a demo? This might be the biggest issue. Aspects of the game developed and were iterated on over time, and we made major design and intent changes that radically altered the vision for the game. Namely, this was things like the Super Vault ability, a huge nerf to the height of Super Jump, the fact that the collectible gems now have names and dialogue and deliver the game's narrative, and so on. These changes meant that our existing demo was now giving the wrong impression to players about what the full game would be like to play. Some players might have been put off by the game in its old state, but while also I think all these changes are for the better of the game, obviously, some players might have even preferred or were looking forward to that particular experience and would later be disappointed by the radical changes in the final product. A demo, or really any marketing material, needs to help set clear expectations for the players. It should excite them, but it should be a truthful representation of what the game is going to be. In my defense at the time, the game had a somewhat smaller scope than it does now, and we weren't expecting to initially make any of these big changes. But it was still far too early in development for us to know that these things were truly locked in. Very similarly to point 1, but subtly different, many things about the game are just better now. They're more polished. They give a real taste of the quality bar we're now aiming for with the game. The player animations, the background art, the sound effects, the game feel and level design, like everything has leveled up a lot. Again, our old demo did represent our targets at the time, but now they just give a false impression of the quality level we're actually shooting for. It doesn't matter that we disclaim the game as an early look and that everything is a work in progress, even though these things are still true. The player and potential future customer only sees what you show them, and expects that if you're showing them this, it should be fairly close to an accurate representation of what the final game will be like to play. It's possible many people who played the first demo won't ever give the game a second chance to impress them. That first impression really matters, and a demo gives away more than any other kind of marketing. A playable section of your game puts so many cards on the table that those cards better be ready for playing. Now, while I can update it to help with some of the other problems, no matter what I do, a demo is out there now. It's free for anyone to download. Speedrunners play it and practice it and have set records on it. For this game, I'm still happy to have this overall. The speedrunning community is very important to me, and it is extremely useful as a solo developer to get this easy access to enthusiastic players for feedback, testing, and frankly motivation. But like I was getting at before, your demo is the final marketing card you have to play. It should probably be the last resort for marketing your game and not the first. I can't now easily take back the demo and make it an incentive for Patreon support, for example, or Kickstarter support. A playable demo has a lot of real value to your players who are interested in your game, and you should probably get more value out of it than giving it away for free in the hopes to better market your game. And especially if, like me, you release a demo too early, you might do more harm than good for your marketing efforts long term. Again, it's putting all your cards on the table and you can't pick them back up once they're down. Being so early in development with things changing so rapidly, I couldn't keep a clean and robust version of the demo fully up to date as development was so volatile and buggy and experimental, as we were doing so much major and destabilizing work, adding whole new features and content and so on. It's easier now that the game has gotten into a more stable place, but I've still burdened myself with trying to keep this new demo running smoothly and as bug-free as possible while developing the rest of the game. Providing support for anything you release can be a lot of work, and you don't want more work for yourself while you're already attempting the frankly ludicrous task of making a whole video game. Now, this is a Steam-specific thing, and not so much about releasing the demo itself too early, but the Steam Next Fest thing they do, where you can get a whole bunch of free visibility on your upcoming game. It's something your game can only take part in once. I did that with PokeyPoke's old demo back in 2020, and it got some nice attention and some decent wishlist numbers and so on, but this could have been orders of magnitude more valuable if I'd have done this with a much more polished demo at a time far closer to release. I will never get the chance to do that now because I played my cards too soon. So the worst part about all these problems is they're all kind of permanent damage. Sure, I've made a new demo, but even the new demo is frankly still too early and suffers from, or could suffer from, all of the same problems. Some of the damage is just already done. Making a new and more polished demo is just sort of the best fix I have for a less than ideal situation. Still a lot about the game and even the new demo that I think is not really ready, but any damage that could do is frankly worth it just to get the old demo out of the picture at this point. I can keep polishing the new demo, but the old demo was kind of just like this wound that needed covering as quickly as possible. Still, all these negatives aside, I'm actually really happy with the way things are working out. Players are really enjoying the new demo, we're getting lots of great feedback, and the community is growing. Having the demo is a constant source of feedback and testing, a thing I get to shout about whenever I make improvements. And you think even just getting to see people play this slice of the game is a big part of what motivates me to finish the game in the first place. It almost feels now like I've done some sort of pseudo early access model. I do wish we had not released the original demo when we had, but I think we are now finding the best path forwards with where we're at. The new demo is something I can stand behind and say, yes, this is what the game is going to be like, this is what it's going to be. I also now finally feel like I understand why development is often so secretive and opaque, because marketing is ultimately all about setting expectations. And with a process that's as creative and iterative and volatile as game development, it can be very difficult to know that you're setting the right ones. Our new demo does do a much better job of all that, I think, and I'm much happy with how it's showcasing like what we have to offer with the game. Please go play it and maybe wishlist it too. This helps me out a lot even if you're not actually planning on buying the game, even if it's not the kind of thing you would normally play. Just adding it to your wishlist helps me get more visibility and attention. So if you want to support what I do in a free and effortless way, wishlisting my game is probably the best thing you could do. As for what's next for PokeyPoke now that the new demo is out there, I've been reviewing a lot of really great feedback from players. Primarily though, my next steps are going to be focused around content. I have like 4 more major areas of the game that need to reach MVP levels of completion. There's still a long road to walk for the game, but I'm really happy now that we're finally kind of laying bricks at a real pace. As for when it'll all be done, I've still no clue, but I do think the next few months will give me an increasingly clear picture. So wish me luck and stay tuned. Thank you to all my patrons who enable me to keep making games like PokeyPoke and making videos like this. And if you really like my stuff, you can join them over at patreon.com/SeanJF. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.